Upright from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. This is Jieshi. And in the bottom left from Invictus Gaming, this is coffee. My favorite morning beverage.
What type of coffee are we talking?
I'm obviously a black coffee drinker. The manliest coffee way to drink.
Really? What's your second favorite then? Second and third?
My second favorite hot beverage or second favorite morning beverage is tea.
No. Involving coffee.
Oh, involving
You only drink
coffee.
black ever.
I drink black, and the other one is like a cappuccino, usually, if I go for that. Yeah, but I normally don't like milk in my coffee.
My go-to is cappuccino with oat milk.
Cappuccino with oat milk? I've only ever had regular milk. Oh, and macadamia milk. My wife loves macadamia milk. We don't have any real milk, so we only got macadamia.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's it. That's it. Oh, she says hello, by the way. Forgot to mention that.
I'd say hello back.
I will. Tomorrow morning. She's probably asleep right now.
Yeah. It's late for you guys. Okay, let's see what these guys have in store for us here. On Waterfall, honestly, Jieshi, I've been impressed with him this tournament. Of course, I think he's the underdog here going into this match. But Coffee, there's definitely some things you can pick up from the way he plays. I think he really likes to open Raven, and then he likes to hit certain timings. So you can prepare yourself better against him than you would like the more predictable players. Then again, I say that he might play entirely differently here, but I definitely picked up that he likes opening Raven very often.
Yeah, it's very safe, very well-rounded. You can harass with it as well. I feel like it's one of those units that's so versatile. It's similar to the Oracle for me from the Protoss, where it can do everything. You know, it can scout, it can tag, it can support with stasis wards, it can harass and kill things with the pulsar beams. It's so versatile. But as we see, Jieshi looking like he's going for a pretty standard blink build at the moment, getting his extra gateway and continuing to build stalkers. And pretty standard from Coffee as well. Low ground expand, 1/1/1. Looks like a Widowmine drop. A couple of Marines for defense. Very standard start here for both players.
In which case, he wouldn't play with the Raven here and go for a Medivac first.
Yeah, do Medivac first. Yep. So this build, I think it can have a Raven, but it's generally going to not have one.
You can go for it after, technically, right? Like a lot of Terrans still do that. They get the Raven first.
Yeah, you can switch with the Tech Lab.
Oh, sorry, the Medivac first, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to delay things like Stim and Combat Shield, especially Stim. You don't want to delay it too long.
It's a very long upgrade to research, that is for sure.
Yeah.
Probably feels like an eternity for the Terrans, but for the opponents, it feels like it finishes so fast. Because you get attacked by timing with Steam. It's like, no. They're doing so well. But yeah, there it is, a Raven.
All right. And you're a genius. Look at that. You haven't lost a beat. The Nexus getting dropped there. So yeah, Jieshi playing very macro focused, very standard. Blink into expansion, and Robo coming down as well. You know, this isn't going to be for anything wild, just for an observer.
Yeah, Jieshi comfortable really like rushing that third base. You know, it always goes down around like 350. Now it was even like a little bit earlier in this case. And I like the way he's playing this so far. We'll see what the transition is, like how quickly does he go into charge, if he has like robos and all that. And the thing about like this Raven is that I feel like Coffee's best choice is probably to sit at home, let it get a lot of energy, and then go for a timing. How do you defend well against that? That's the hard part.
Yeah, something he's going to have to figure out for sure. Blink is done now, and immediately into charge is Jieshi. Gonna keep an eye on his gases and see how many he takes and when, to see if he's playing like a gateway heavy style or going into tier 3 quicker, whether he goes Templar or Robo Bait. And this is just Coffee chilling until he gets his upgrades out. He did have a Widowmine out, but didn't go for Medivac first, so he really doesn't have any presence on the other side of the map. Like, you know, no Reaper jumping around. He hasn't sent a Marine across the map or anything like that. So he's really in the dark right now, and he's just waiting for these 3 important upgrades: +1 attack, Combat Shield, and Stim, before he makes his presence felt on the Protoss side of the map.
Very nice reflex with the Observer pulling that back before he were to fly into the Raven. He's getting a 3rd Observer. Oh my god. Okay. On such a small map as well. Like, he's literally going to see everything. And 6 more gates. That's going to be a lot of charge lots.
It is. Going to have a lot of charge lots and pretty Stalker heavy. And actually, it's very similar to how Firefly played in as far as Armycom's concerned in his games against Time, where not rushing the Robo Bay, not relying heavily on Colossi, actually just relying much more heavily on just a lot of gateway units and getting these gases a little bit later, but doing it with a single forge. Zest back in the day when he played like a gateway super gateway focused centric style, he would have double forge upgrades as well, just with 3 gases for ages. This is definitely a little bit different.
They could go into double Robo Colossus eventually here.
For sure.
Actually, like, beautifully, if you were to. Oh my god, the cannons! It's so weird to get cannons here because it's such a huge investment. I mean, he already has so many observers as well. Like,
yeah, the cannon's a bit interesting. Maybe he just doesn't. He's like doesn't feel super confident against Widowmine drops and doesn't want to have to worry about it.
yeah, that's it's so costly, right? Because you're spending this on. Like you see right now, he's cutting probe production. He could have been making probes this whole time and boosting his economy even further. Maybe that's intentional because he sees the timing coming and he just wants to get as many units as possible. So probably chrono boosting that one extra immortal, trying to get more zealots sometime. Yeah, this is the big timing he needs to do well against. And the anti-armor missile is going to be huge here, by the way.
Oh.
He's pulling the boys. He's going all in. Oh my god.
The observer sees it, but this is the weakness of this gateway style, is you don't have splash damage, so you have to rely very heavily on good force fields here to stay alive. But the thing is, if he force fields the third, he's not going to have the natural cupboard. Let's see if he can hold on both fronts. The boys are coming in on that third location. The Widowmine goes into the middle of the pack, hits the sentries, hits a lot of the charge lots as well. The natural has been cracked by Coffee. He is not slowing down in that natural. In fact, the SCVs are coming to help out. A lot of SCVs dying. Is Coffee able to win with this all? And he's still up a lot of army supply. Once that immortal guns it down. Not many zealots left.
Yeah, Jieshi pulling the probes is very smart. He doesn't need all the extra probes. He just needs a lot of units and like to barely hold here. Great micro from both players, moving back the Stalkers here back to the battery. But this gets pushed back. Coffee behind in supply now. So many workers behind. It's going to be so hard for him to recover from there. That was... Like, it looked strong at first, but the fact that the Guardian Shield was up pretty much the entire fight on the right side was a big problem for Coffee. I think he tried to even dive for those sentries, but failed to kill them on time.
Yeah, Coffee really is a much more aggressive kind of terror, and he comes back and he sees, too much production. I didn't kill enough probes. I cannot win here. Just pulling the boys is a huge committal. If you just went with the army, it could be a little poke, a little bit of a scuffle, a bit of a trade, doing chip damage to each other and then going into a macro game. But Coffee is a lot different than Time. He's very more likely to go all in and go for builds like what he just did in game 1. But sometimes, as you can see, it shoots you in the foot because you lose your economy.
You know what I just remembered? Now that we're talking about Coffee, there was an event where Nathanias didn't sleep very well. He was like all moody in the morning. I think we all were. And we show up at the venue and like somebody was like, "Oh, you want a drink?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll take a bleach and coffee."
I actually remember. I think that story rings a bell. Oh my god, we're gonna take a break, guys. Off the back of that story, when we return, it's gonna be Coffee and Jieshi game 2. Don't go away. We'll see you then. G'day, StarCraft fans, and welcome back. We are in our last best of 5 for the evening. One map deep, with Coffee currently being down against Jieshi for the 1-0 lead. I am Maynard. With me is Todd. You are watching the DreamHack Masters Chinese main event here. And this region always promises to entertain, Todd, and it usually delivers.
It definitely does. You know, actually, I caught the replay here just now of that fight here where the SCVs were pulled. And I think there was a big problem with the execution. The SCVs were kind of AFK. They were doing nothing as the engagement happened. They need to be at the front, I think, tanking a lot of the damage for the bio to do his job and like stay alive as well. And I think attacking on two fronts was a mistake, right? Like on this map, he could have either gone into the natural or third base. I think he should have committed on one of them because the super battery was in the expansion. So maybe going for the third would have been a better choice. So fortunately not gonna work out. Maybe that's the wake-up call to start playing better. Because Jieshi is on point.
Normally Coffee's the wake-up call. It's better the other way around here.
With a little spice in it too.
A little bit of caliente. In the top right here from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, this is Jieshi. And in the bottom left from Invictus Gaming, this is Coffee. Yeah, I guess it just came down to execution, like you said, because I actually like the strategy a lot of going for an SCV pull against someone that just doesn't have any splash damage. They're just on gateway units.
Coffee's been playing for Invictus Gaming for 3 years, by the way. I feel like it's kind of rare nowadays that a player plays for the same team for 3 years, right? There is a lot of like moving around and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's why people like, you know, how TLO was on Team Liquid for 10 years. That was an incredible milestone. When I remember seeing that posted on social media like a while back, and just being like, you know, it's obviously before he went into Shopify and that kind of thing. I was just like, damn, what an innings! Like to have a pro player in a same team for 10 years. I think Hero Marine's been in Mouse as well for as long, if not longer.
But I think Hazuops was in Mouse for like 15 years or something absurd.
Oh yeah, true, because of Warcraft.
Yeah, Hazuops, the true goat of just having one team.
Goated.
All right, let's see. I feel like nowadays, by the way, there's very little proxies. It's like so rare that this happens. I mean, we did have one before with a proxy Molder, but a lot of the games I've been watching are just like really, really standard here up to this point.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, it gets a little aggressive and that kind of thing. But yeah, for the most part, very, very standard. Coffee probably the most aggressive out of any of these players so far. But he might dial it back after game one. Maybe the wind gets knocked out of his sails and he goes, oh, that didn't really work out. Or he's one of those guys that really believes and he's like, I just didn't do it well. I'll try it again. Especially if he notices that Jieshi is going for the gateway heavy style again. It also works better on a map where the rush distance is a bit shorter. Inside and out is a bit bigger of a map, so not as effective as a move.
You know what the hardest part is of losing a game like this for Coffee and like just, you know, like moving on and like learning from it and focusing on the rest of the series?
You tell me.
It's, I think, not being emotional, especially if he thinks he made a huge mistake. So you need to be unemotional about it, figure out why you lost. In this case, I think the execution just wasn't there. Like the SCVs literally weren't moving at the beginning of the last engagement. Maybe they weren't grouped properly or something. I don't know. Maybe he just picked the Marines and steams. But that was the big problem. I think he could have won that game with a push if he had executed better. So it's important for him to stay unemotional, look at it and be like, okay, I made that huge mistake. Let's use that as a way to awaken myself properly, just like my nickname suggests I should, and then play better from there because I know I can beat this dude.
Yeah, and he definitely can. But will he? We'll find out together. I actually find that, I was thinking about it the other day, that a lot of the players, the best players in StarCraft 2 have actually been a bit more on the emotional side. Like you've got your killer robots, and a lot of people think that Cyril is also like just a machine. And he certainly looks like he behaves like one sometimes, but when you see him at like a LAN and you get to watch his webcam when he like makes a mistake, he's very emotional. He gets very hard on himself. It's just in interviews and that sort of thing, he's very like very reserved.
Yeah, for sure. But sometimes I think like some players, they are like that, and then if you look at them, you're like, oh my god, like he's really upset or something. You know, he's talking out loud, he's cursing or whatever. But then the player still plays a very clean game. So even though they're emotional, they stay unaffected. So maybe I should have phrased it differently and said like, okay, it's okay to get emotional, but just you need to play as if you're unemotional. Sure.
Yeah.
Don't let the loss affect you. or maybe your lack of understanding of why exactly you lost. I feel like from that game, honestly, Coffee should just be able to look at it and be like, okay, well, the execution just wasn't there. It should be pretty straightforward. I highly doubt that he's like, oh my god, like how did I lose this? You know, I should have won.
Indeed. I'll talk about the game so far. Pretty uneventful for the most part. Reaper jumps up into the main base, gets a bit of a scout, gets a probe, and then dies. From the Terran, we've got a Raven expand here, and then just a pretty standard switch over into the 3 barracks with a double stim and combat shield upgrades, +1 attack, super standard Terran build here, and the Protoss blink into 3rd base expand right into charge as well. Very, very standard on both sides of the fence.
Please let it be High Templars.
You love your spellcasters.
I'm not getting Dark Shrine, so I want at least to see some High Templars. That's the
there was
compromise
technically a Dark Shrine in the last game of Time and Firefly, but it didn't really amount to anything.
Yeah, exactly. I want a successful Dark Shrine. I want a Dark Shrine to steal a game.
If you win with the Dark Shrine, is that winning the game or stealing the game? Oh, good catch on that observer.
A lot of the time it's stealing the game. I've stolen a lot of games. You know, when I played Autosys in the Casters Invitational, I was like super far behind, and then I whopped him DTs everywhere, and he lost his observer, and he lost. I think he was like obviously pretty upset. And then later we talked about it because I went 3-0, and he was like, no. That series with the 3-2 for me.
I love it. I love him. Yeah, he loves Protoss in StarCraft 2 as much as he loves Protoss in Brood War. But the weird thing is that he played Protoss. There's a bit of a self-hating Protoss in StarCraft 2.
I think he tried to correct his mistake from Brood War, but then somehow ended up the weakest race again. I'm joking, guys. Come on, don't get triggered. Am I?
It's just banter, guys. Yeah, or is it? Got to keep the community on their toes, keep them guessing. So yeah, a couple Zealots, just or rather Stalkers getting a little bit of a scuffle here at the front line. Charge done now, and Terran's mighty 3 upgrades are all lining up. +1 attack, combat shield, stim. Time for these units to get active. Push back those Blink Stalkers. Right now, the Terran's got a... Oh man, Coffee, he believes. He believes.
Yeah,
the boys are coming again. 2 maps in a row.
Okay, at this time, the SCVs need to be at the front. That was really the biggest mistake that he made last game. He needs to connect with a big anti-armor missile, ideally. And he should attack only one spot. Either the expansion... Oh, okay. Well, in this case, it's going to make it easier that Jieshi is there in position. He goes for auto turrets instead of anti-armor missile.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's running back that army at the 3rd base, and I actually kind of like that he's being more decisive and just diving into natural this time. He's also got some Widow Mines to, you know, really make things awkward for Jieshi, but Jieshi actually just negates the minefield, recalls into the main base, and is fighting down the ramp.
I think the best thing to do for Coffee is to kill the Expo and then go into the 3rd maybe, but he chooses to go for the main. There is some force field potential. Units falling very rapidly on both sides here. Only 2 medivacs pulling in all the work. 24 workers to 44. Widow Mines coming in. Oh my god.
And the Widow Mine's getting an okay connection, but sometimes they do hurt the Terran just as much. This is a bit of a scuffle. Pretty good army lead at the moment for Coffee, but a lot of it's in medevacs right now. He's going for the main base, and he's almost completely out of medevac energy. He's just got just a few pips of medevac energy on those front lines, and he was reinforcing this as well. And now Coffee, again, in an awkward spot where he's just lost his economy. He didn't win the game, and now he has to try and make something happen off of the back foot. I think he's just going to get all these forces together, heal them up again, heal them up a little bit, and just go for another SCV pull.
Honestly, the execution wasn't terrible, but I think he, again, didn't do the best possible. He could have stayed clear of the ramp on the left side, sniped that Nexus on the natural, then gone for the 3rd base. I'm really not sure about the way he fully handled this, like, especially because there was a very clear recall, so there was nothing in the 3rd base. Even just sending a few units there, you can get some more probe kills. So now he's 20 workers behind. This is pretty bad, but he has way more army. He did retain some of his bio in the medivacs. He has 66 army against 38. It's always a little scary.
Yeah, indeed. There is still a big supply lead for the Coffee, like you mentioned, with that army. If High Templar are warped in with Storm, then Coffee is you know, potentially boned here. This is a really hard counter to his current strategy of just having army units.
Storm, 13 seconds from finishing. Has been chrono boosted. High Templar, and he gets the battery here.
He does get the battery. Storm is done. High Templar dropping some bad weather on the left side there, forcing back the Terran. Widow Mine's rolling up the ramp. Another good Storm on the middle of the pack, even killing a medevac there. And Jieshi is holding still for now, and the Marauders even getting gunned down by Stalkers there, making things a little bit easier for him. Yeah, and the Archon's going to be fantastic here as well to tank those bio units. And I do think that Jieshi is starting to hold here, but there is still a little bit of danger from the Terran.
Yeah, Coffee needs to like engage and then kites. Oh, he has the double siege of Widow Mines plus the one Liberator here. Trying to force the engagement as soon as possible. There is no storms yet on these 2 additional High Templars that were warped in. He goes for a feedback. Those Medivacs have no more energy.
They don't, yeah. There's been stemmed super hard, this army. And Jieshi is gunning this back, and the Medivac gets gunned down as well. Coffee is out of steam, dude. He has been able to get his worker count up to a little bit more of a healthier number. Jieshi has also cut probes, so in a weird way, this is, I was going to say, a game that I think Coffee can potentially continue to play. I didn't think he was actually super dead there. 43 SCVs against 54. He killed the natural. I guess it was retaken, and Jieshi was definitely in a lead, but I didn't think that Coffee was dead.
Nice, Oli nerd. Where's your caffeine now?
This has been a weird series so far. Just you know, aggression from Coffee, not having any confidence in playing a regular game at the moment, and unfortunately, like in super quick fashion, he's finding himself on match point, or rather Jieshi on match point, and he needs to win 3 in a row now.
I don't know if it's him not being confident in playing a standard game, or him believing that this is the best strategical choice against what Jieshi does. But
yeah,
in this
case,
mean,
I still think that it is a good strategy.
Yeah. I think maybe he oversteamed a little, because like he has only 2 Medivacs and you see everything is steamed. I think going at the ramp now was maybe a mistake. And yeah, like his army just got like, the size got reduced over time.
I actually thought he had the dub here, but until the charge lots came in from the left side, and the Widow Mines had already fired. If those 2 Widow Mines hit the charge lots, maybe Coffee just has that you know, that one moment where you can just start to snowball and pick off those stalkers and start to crush through the natural and get the win. And on the left
if he
side
stayed
here,
down the ramp, like clear of it, like kind of in a concave around it, there would be no way Jieshi could come down the ramp and engage effectively. He could have just killed the Expo and all the probes there, and then headed for the 3rd, and then try and force a bad fight. But it probably feels like because you pull all SCVs, you have to get the fight as soon as possible. So maybe it was good on Jieshi that he kind of delayed the fight ultimately, but with the recall and getting up the ramp.
Indeed. And as the dust settles, you know, I saw him, didn't actually have a look at the infrastructure of both those players, because we're not in the game. I'm not in the game. I just have this this feed here. Whatever the observer sees is whatever I see. And it looked like, you know, I was looking at the soup. I'm sorry, Todd. I was looking at the soup while you were looking at the soup, and we doubled up. But I was like, you know, 42 SCVs against 54 probes. Yeah, he's on 2 bases. Maybe because there was no 3rd on the way for him. He was like, oh, if I really don't want to play the struggle. I don't want to be on the struggle bus for this game. I don't want to try and claw this game back. I'm gonna just tap out, you know. But I just figured when you're playing in a tournament for a lot of money, even though it's double elim, you should, you know, at least try and make something happen, I suppose. But anyway, Coffee decides that it's not a game for him, so we're gonna go into map 3 instead.
Do it.
Let's do it. I don't remember what the 3rd map is, unfortunately, but as it stands, the most important thing here is that Jieshi is on match point. Coffee needs to win 3 in a row. That is a pretty big ask, and Jieshi continues to look pretty amazing in this matchup, which he has a very dominant win rate in, apparently.
He hasn't had to do much. Just go for his basic game plan and then hold the attack. That's it.
Yeah, and he's been doing it beautifully. Maybe game 1, a little bit of miss execution from Coffee. Game 2, definitely, I thought Coffee did a little bit better with the SCVs, but this guy in the bottom right, he managed to hold beautifully with the back of those storms, also making things easier at the 3rd nexus. In the bottom right from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, this is Jieshi. In the top left here from Invictus Gaming, he's got to win 3 in a row, and he's going for the proxy barracks. This is Coffee.
Look at this little proxy out on the map here. He's gonna dip a little camembert in his coffee, a little fromage. Go for that cheese. Oh my god, the probe. Is it going down? Nope, not all the way down. And yeah, so that won't be scouted, most likely.
Yeah, not going to be scouted. Is looking for something like this, and we'll see if this is like a Marauder Rush, or if it's Reaper or something like that from Coffee. The Marauder Rush is a lot scarier, but he definitely doesn't have room for the tech lab where the barracks is. He'd have to lift it and move it.
Dude, what happened to Coffee in his practice? Something must have happened. He does not want to play a standard game.
Yeah, does not want to play this standard Terran build against Jieshi. Yeah, he starts off standard and then pulls the boys, basically. Like, you don't pull the boys, you just got yourself a regular Terran build for the most part.
Yeah. Something must have happened where maybe he got absolutely crushed.
Maybe not confident against Jieshi. Just maybe thinks that Jaishi's maybe a little bit too strong in the mid game.
Unfortunately, he's been strong at defending as well so far. Sees the bunker right now.
Yeah, so now he knows that a Reaper's been proxied when you see that bunker. And the Reaper is going to get a little bit of damage done. Does dive and gets that probe, which is trying to hide in the assimilator there.
Stalker is about to come out. Oh my god.
Oh, good work with the Reaper. And actually, the bunker's going to finish too. Nice. This is actually a good start for this proxy. So a little bit of probe damage. Obviously,
oh my god.
Never mind.
Not like
Hung
this.
around a little bit too long. Then he had the bloodlust. He saw that probe and he's like, oh, I'm going to get that probe. Oh, I'm going to get it. And then unfortunately, bit off a little bit more than he could chew there. Second Reaper showing up now. Going to get a little bit more done as the Stalker's out in the natural trying to deal with that bunker. Gets another probe down, and I think that's 3 probes in total, and the Reaper is ejected from the premises. Losing that first one is a little brutal. And the bunker's just going to get salvaged. So
this wasn't enough.
Yeah.
This wasn't enough damage, especially like, yes, worker-wise, Coffee is 1 worker ahead, but there's 2 Nexus up. So that means Chronoboost probes now. You're very comfortable if you're a Jieshi, and then you just boost up your economy, and then you get ready to defend a 3rd SCV pull in a row. You know, what else?
Yeah. It is a reacted factory pretty quick here, getting out the Widow Mines for Coffee with the double barracks back at home. So we're going to have 3 racks in total. The other one flying back.
I really wonder if Coffee might try something different here, or are we going to have another pull? Wasn't successful at all. It did feel like the execution maybe wasn't good enough. I mean, so it's easy as well as a spectator to just look at it and be like, oh, well, could have done better and stuff. Again, a very quick 3rd base. Even though we got harassed and lost some probes, still a 3 minutes 50 3rd Nexus.
Yep. And this is one of those maps where you get that safer back pocket 3rd, but you do have less minerals to mine from, so it's a little bit less efficient of a base. And it's scouted by the Reaper, so good information from Coffee. I mean, if he wanted with this information, he could just be like, all right, we can just play a macro game, but it's Coffee, so don't put all your eggs into that basket. He's going for the Widow Mines across the map. 4 Widow Mines in tow from the reacted factory, dropping one of them out into the middle of the map, which the observer's going to see. The medevac gets through without the Protoss seeing it.
Okay, why is he sending that around? Can I try and drop the main to bring the units there?
Yeah, maybe to drag the units over as a distraction play, and now diving for the main.
Oh my god, did he realize that was going to be spotted and the Stalkers would head there? That's pretty sick, so... Fireworks, and he gets out unscathed. And now the Widowman at the expansion got there
That's
on
the one
time.
that just walked off. I mean, it's not going to get a whole lot done by the looks of things, but clever play, nice jukes there from Coffee, and actually gets 2 probes there. That's 1 more than I thought he'd get.
Coffee's probably thinking, why did I just do that in the previous games?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lovely start. He's also got a little bit of probe damage with the Reapers, but Reapers are like 50 minerals and 50 gas, so you want to get a little bit more done if you're proxying them, but it's not the biggest of deals. And both players are actually playing a fair bit differently here for this game. Jieshi not just going gateway heavy and delaying his splash damage to later. This time he's actually like, you know what? There's been a lot of SCV pulls from this guy. Let's get a Colossus up quick.
Yeah, that actually, like, if that happens again and there's Colossus, it's going to be very, very one-sided. He's getting ready. Still went for the 3rd base quickly, though. Like, if you're convinced your opponent's going to go 2 base SCV pull, you might as well stay on 2 bases. He's like, nah, I don't need to. I can just still take the 3rd and, like, be fine, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Terran is about to get out on the map with the bio and have a look and see what they can get done. It is double medevac time. The Observer sees absolutely everything, so this is excellent information for Jieshi, about as best as you can hope for. The medevac on the right side, Sharkin looking for an opening, and the back door Nexus, or the Natural, could be the potential targets here.
How does that make you feel when you see one of those Observer, like, being like a peeping Tom over your base?
I mean...
Oh, he got away!
Yeah, he did. Avoided the scans. Not sure how that Observer survived that, to be honest. Must have been on the move. I mean, I'm one of those Terrans that was always devastatingly bad at killing Observers. I would always I'd be like, oh, how did he know? How did he know? And you'd look at the replay. I try to look at every single replay. And, yep, sure enough. One of those cloaked observers right over my natural, right over my production, over a spot where I couldn't see it.
I don't know if you remember this series, but there was a series between like Teja and the Protoss at WCS World Finals in Germany. And Teja killed like, I don't know, 14 observers or something. He just kept scanning for every one of them, kept killing them. And then at some point we were just like, okay, we need to hide Funka from him because otherwise...
I love Funka's nickname, the Witness of StarCraft. Ooh, drop of the main. Going for
That
the
was
Robo
A9
here.
actually.
And there is only one Robo making the Colossi, so it does go down. One of
Why
them's
is it
already
there?
been made.
Why was the Robo there? Such a weird placement. It's like a Robo that screams, yeah, if you drop, please kill me.
Now the medevac is flying through the natural a little bit late on the... I thought he was going to go for the Widowmine drop, but he decided against it. I was like, I hope this isn't an F2, and that medevac just flies over an army.
And now Coffee found some really good damage this game, I gotta say. I really like his position.
Well, big load up on the medevacs. This is also something that Coffee likes to do. If he's not pulling the SCVs, he's loading up all of his medevacs and diving the main. The observer sees them, or rather does not see them. It's the opposite of what I just said. And they're going for the main right now. Stalkers are in position, though. He's called it. Reaction from Coffee. He has to pull back. Feels like Jieshi's is like in Coffee's head.
Yeah. Honestly, like... But he still took a lot of damage. Like, the initial Widow Mines were the big problem. After that, everything that comes after is like the snowball reaction to the initial aggression that did damage, so... Nothing you can do here as Jieshi other than really like buckle your seatbelts and just sit there, wait for the opponent to attack, and hope he overextends at some point, which Coffee has done a very good job of not doing up until that one drop. That was terrible.
Yeah, didn't get a whole lot done there at all. Ghost Academy on the way now, and we got ourselves a proper macro game between these two players, with Coffee having a pretty solid army supply lead. And, you know, definitely about time to run across the map. But this is the kind of observer I'm talking about. These are the ones that just sit in my natural and I never catch them. For some reason, I just never see them. And they see every single unit that I'm making.
You talk about the witness of his spot. That was Day 9, I think, that came up with this.
That's right, yeah.
He had like this really funny thing about Funka, where he was like, Funka, you really observed the hell out of this grand finals. And then every time I would see him at an event, I was like, did you see what Funka did, man? He observed like crazy in this grand finals.
Oh, those plot brothers got a lot of energy. Yeah. Well, this big push from the Terran is looking pretty scary. I'm witnessing this right now. 28 supply lead. It's a lot of Vikings. Enough to handle 3 Colossus, we will see. Observer sees this army. I mean, Jieshi's had incredible map control here. He's been seeing a lot of the map. There's 3 Vikings. That's not super convincing, but the Marauders Shark are on the right side trying to grab on those Colossus.
He force fielded instead of Guardian Shield. So he has no Guardian Shield. He has the battery that helps, but honestly, Guardian Shield is so important in this fight. I'm surprised they don't prioritize it more here.
I mean, he did pretty bloody good without it. So maybe it's just the new way of doing things. This is a pretty good hold from Jieshi. He lost the Colossus, sure. 300 and 200 gas goes down. 300 minerals goes down, but he pushes back the Terran, who had a bigger supply lead until that scuffle. Now the Protoss is actually starting to catch up a fair bit. Sure, more Vikings are coming, enhanced shockwaves on the way. Another observer goes down the front line, but Jieshi is about to have a pretty solid 4 base economy, and Coffee is, you know, still working on his 4th command center. It's just barely started the main base. So Protoss with a lovely econ lead here. Terran with the upgrades for now, but the armory a little bit late for Coffee, or a lot late, I should say. So he's not able to just smash 2-2 immediately and maintain an upgrade lead. It's actually going to be tied up very quickly.
He's doing good supply-wise. I like the timing that he made the 4th CC at. So this is like the first fully normal game that we're seeing here in the series, where he's not pulling the boys and then just kind of being defended. Yeah, I like the Viking production, and honestly, you should just try to build up a big army with Ghosts and Vikings and then start being more aggro and go for some sort of timing. No,
I like the Widow Mines. Yeah. I like the Widow Mines on the expand locations. You know, sure, the Widow Mine isn't the cheapest thing in the whole world, but it you know, will especially slow down the Protoss and kill the probe and just force units to go over there and do something about it. It can be a good distraction play and also slows down the expansions.
But I was watching Autosis with his vultures and mines for a second. It's about to go on a rant about the Arbitus and Recall.
While making a unit that's 75 minerals and has spider mines.
Wait, don't you play
really
Terran?
sick. Oh, not in Brood War. I actually played Protoss.
Oh, did you? Oh my god, you did the reverse
I did.
Autosis.
I did the reverse. Yeah, that's right.
So sick.
Scan on the army here at Jieshi, sees some very scary splash damage there. This is a tough nut to crack for Terran. He's actually making a second Ghost Academy. Oh, I think we got some nuclear missiles coming out for coffee. This is a Terran that likes to nuke, but you know, it hasn't really amounted to a whole lot. We'll see in this game if it amounts to anything. Protoss coming for an attack over here at the third, or rather the fourth base of the Terran, trying to get that planetary up. Just finishes now.
Ooh, that's a lot of Vikings. And I have to be on point. I mean, if you look at how many Stalkers there are, those Vikings might get absolutely smashed if they move out of position even just one time. Is that a warp in on the left-hand side here? A bunch of
Looks
reds.
like a bowl of zealots waiting for their time to shine. Yeah.
Still Team 6.
That's
Oh
right.
my god, he can't go up that ramp. Everything was EMP'd. The size of the sun landed on the...
Widow Mine going to soften up these zealots. Good Widow Mine. There's a bunker in the natural. Should be able to hold here. The Disruptor shaving off some units and giving himself a little bit of high ground. If he gets the high ground and he starts fighting up here, it's going to be a little bit easier for him. But he is going to be nest up right against the planetary, which isn't comfortable at all for the Protoss.
These guys went straight for the back, man. Secret entrance, just past all the VIP guests.
Yeah. The bouncers caught up with him, threw him out, unfortunately. Okay, he's going to rotate here and try and poke the natural from where the Zealots are coming. Here's the nuke. Or rather, the Ghost going across the map now. We haven't got nukes just yet. 2 of them on the way on those 2 Ghost Academies.
No way. He's gonna nuke.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, man. Coffee loves to nuke. This is a Terran to be fan of.
He leaves the nuke. Oh my god, the
Lives
Nova!
for it. Oh, big Nova. Wow.
And all of a sudden, the supply. Big lead for Jieshi, but he's still EMP'd here. He's missing a lot of shields on all of his units. And also, when he attack like this, that's when EMPs are gonna land the most.
Yeah, and every time he gets in range of those Vikings, the Vikings got insane range, and they're going to start killing Colossus as well. Gets the Observer. Nice, a little bit more vision for the Protoss. And the nukes are done. Let's see some weapons of mass destruction, Coffee. Drop them on the Protoss. Let's go. The Observer sees the breakaway.
Oh my god. Well, that was underwhelming.
Yeah, that sucks.
What the scream on the Ghost.
Yeah. On the Chinese client as well, everything has a different voice. Everything in the Terran race is very, very overdramatic when they dies.
He's almost
good
thinking, but
splits.
every time he does that, like he loses a lot here, Jieshi. That's pretty bad. Throwing away a lot of units.
Yeah, a little bit of a trades on both sides. Coffee maintaining a supply lead a little bit in the army, but ever so slightly. And isn't able to actually start his 3-3 upgrades. I mean, by that I mean he is able, he can afford it, but he's not thinking about it right now. He's more concerned about just macroing up and getting to maxed.
He just sent the Colossi away. That's so sick. Because if they're near, they can die to Vikings. I think he's just trying to land some big Nova here. That's why he's probing forward. Lands a good one here. But yeah, keeping the Colossus back away like this means he can retain them for later when the fight actually happens. I think they're in the bottom left.
Oh! The You're Not Looking Disruptor play. Well done by Jieshi. Liberator breaks away and goes for some harassment here. Gets 4 probes, forces some mining denied over here at the Natural Nexus. A little bit of good damage, not too bad, not too bad. The Colossi just on standby until it's their moment to shine. Just trying to negate all this supply of Vikings on the Terran. Another good EMP into the middle of the pack, but needs to respect the Disruptors. Oh, that's the, oh god, go away from me, Disruptor spam. Fire all 4 at once.
That was really bad. 4 for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
3-3 on the way now for Coffee, and honestly, he looks so good in the macro game. I really wonder what's happening in game 1 or 2. I also wonder how he likes his Coffee with a nickname like this, but maybe one day we'll find out.
It's hard to know, unfortunately. It's really hard to get interviews with the Chinese players because of, just trying to connect to China in general. You're from Australia.
Yeah.
Recall on the 3 o'clock Nexus here. Terran going to go for the pickup and exits the party, but he goes for the nuke on the bottom left.
Is he in range of the cannon detection? No, he's not.
He's gonna kill the cannons and the pylon, but and maybe a few probes.
Boom.
Yeah, so 3 probes.
And himself.
Oopsie daisies. And didn't kill the cannons, unfortunately.
But these zealots, oh my god, if they get 2 ghosts. Oh, 1 more hit.
Not quite. And there's still 1 more nuke left in the silos.
Oh, the Colossus, bottom left. Oh no, he sent them. Okay, I thought that was it.
Okay.
That was it. That would have been terrible. But now he sees this army move out. That's it. That's the counter attack. You have a base race.
Yeah, this is going to get weird. Protoss, and he's just recalled over at that Nexus at 3 o'clock as well, don't forget. So the Protoss cannot come home, and it's not easy for Terran to come home either. Planetary gets shredded by the Protoss units, takes a few units down with it. And we got a nuke in the natural as well. That one's going to kill some probes. Depower the Robo.
I said I want a 1-hour game. We didn't get it, but then I want a nuke on the whole army. I'm not
Wow,
greedy
you
at all.
don't, you don't ask for much. Oh man, that's so much splash damage on the Protoss here in the natural of the Terran. So the Terran's going to lose their main by the looks of things. He's trying to hold and get as much as he can out of this Protoss army. Oh, Nova kills a Ghost and a handful of units there as well.
This is absolute chaos. The supply is red.
It is red for everyone. Jieshi now
oh my
starting to get
god,
some more
there's so many
pylons in.
disruptors.
Yeah, tons of disruptors, and now that the door's open, they can start to chase these units down. Disruptors walking into the main base or floating into the main base, whatever disruptors do. And it feels like Jieshi just has a little bit too much in this hole. The nuke on the disruptors! Todd, you almost got your wish.
Ooh, he needed that as well, because Coffee's supply
did.
has been vanishing. He has 5 SCVs to 52 probes. This army, though, massive. Army supply not that far apart, but Jieshi in the lead, 98 to 83. He's walking back now to try and defend. Leaves the Zealots behind. They're going to shut down the 3-3 upgrades before it can complete.
Yep, 3-3 denied. That would have been nice for the bio that remains. Just keep in mind that basically all Coffee has here is an army, but it's definitely not as meaty as the army of Jieshi, which is quite a bit up in supply. And he's still got mining bases, which is a big advantage over the Terran, who is broke as a joke as far as minerals are concerned. He's just going to go for the robots. He's trying to get rid of as much splash damage as possible. EMPs the probes.
What the hell?
I mean, EMPs on the charge loss would be amazing, but I think even if he EMPs the charge loss, he's still not going to win this fight.
Here we go. Vikings coming in. He needs to kite with the rest of the army so that the Colossus cannot shoot. Disruptor is going to send their Nova forward. Vikings cleaned up all of the Colossus. He's going to drop on the low ground. Maybe he can even land the Vikings. Can Coffee do this?
He is getting a little bit more even in the army supplies. Definitely got a lot of damage done to the Protoss there. Jieshi still with a better army, I would say, but you know, Coffee is definitely making magic happen with what he has here. And Coffee actually had a really sick comeback in his TVPs earlier in the group stages.
That was against Firefly. That was nuts. That game, he was so dead. He was so far behind in supply the whole game. Might be doing it again here. I mean, he sees that extra expo here in the top right. Income is so low for both players.
Yeah. We got 7 SCVs and I guess mules for the Terran. This is usually where the Protoss tries to get a Dark Shrine out. If they do this much damage in like a sort of a base trade that doesn't end the game, the Dark Shrine is like the GG move usually, because the Terran doesn't have a whole lot of scans.
I think he has no gas, almost.
Yeah, that's the problem for Jieshi. He can't afford it. So, I mean, that is definitely hope for Coffee here for sure.
He's still going for a nuke. He has so limited resources, it's like priorities.
It's like, I want the bombs! The Planetary is going to do a great job here against these Zealots, which are definitely funneled. Jieshi needs to pull their Zealots away.
It's good. Wait, they're going to play the elimination. Both of them, but then Terran buildings can fly.
Not this Planetary. Oh, Nova kills the 7 SCVs there. No, it doesn't need to, indeed. I mean, that was a little bit cavalier there from Jieshi. He's going to be a little bit more careful with his army. Definitely can't throw army away. There is potential for Coffee to win this game still, even though I say that Jieshi's in a slightly better spot. Landed Vikings, though, making things very awkward. There's the recall. Vikings need to get out of here.
Oh, he's not seeing it. He's going to lose everything. Coffee. He rejoins the location with his army. Okay, he still has quite a few ghosts. EMPs are going to be huge. I think Coffee might be winning.
Yeah, I mean, his army is pretty annoying. He does get that Nexus. I think Jieshi sees the nuke. I hope he sees the nuke.
It's all about how many disruptors are there left. Okay, he's engaging.
Yeah, EMP on the Stalkers here. These probes might as well just get boxed and A-move in. Disruptors from the left side fire a little bit too early. There's a Marauder chasing them down as well. I think it's just way too many Stalkers, Todd.
Yeah, he might have enough. Oh my goodness, what a game. Jieshi, absolutely fantastic crisis management here.
Yeah, that's GG right there. Finally, man, I mean, Coffee made him work for that win, but it looks like Jieshi's going to get the 3-0 here in the end. The Protoss is super far ahead now. I have no idea how Coffee even dreams of winning this game.
2 ghosts and a dream. That's going to be it. Oh my goodness, what an upset.
Wow. Well, that was definitely the most entertaining game of the series. The first 2 games were kind of just like, you know, boy pool all-ins from Coffee that didn't